first. There we go. All right, so let's pop into the presentation. All right. So today's objectives are about being able to upload your Zoom lesson to YouTube. We will talk a little bit about how to create your Zoom lessons and how to record your Zoom lessons, I should say. And then once you are able to get them to a place where you know that they are, we're going to show you how to upload them into YouTube. We're going to create a YouTube playlist, or I'm going to show you multiple playlists on your YouTube channel, which sounds pretty professional, but it's really just a way to share and organize your YouTube videos. So they don't all have to be yours, but it is nice to have a YouTube channel and different playlists. And then the final thing that we're going to take a look at is being able to demonstrate to students how to turn on closed captioning in English, and I'll show you how to do subtitles in other languages in YouTube. So that would be more of something that you will share with your students that would benefit from having subtitles in other languages. So I would prefer not to do it in the chat. I would like to maybe introduce each other or talk a little bit about how the first week is going. So I'm gonna forward and screen share back to the presentation. So today's lesson, or today's what we're going to be doing is first talking about Zoom and then moving into the YouTube. So I am going to share a short video with you. This is about all we're going to see regarding Zoom, but I feel that it's pretty helpful. Let me back up here, and why did that? There we go.
Hi, my name is Sethi, and welcome back to the channel where we make educational technology easy for you. Now, we've had a couple of videos on Zoom, and one question that I have seen a lot in the comment section is how do you record your Zooms and what are some of the options? Well, in this video, I'm going to answer that. So let's dive into it with another flipped classroom tutorial. Now, the first thing we'll have to do is dive into our Zoom settings and make sure that we have access to recording capabilities. So let's go ahead and open up Zoom. Now, once you're in the Zoom application, you're going to want to go to the settings in the top right corner. And then once you've clicked that cogwheel, we can find recording. Now, if you do not have this capability, well, then you'll have to go to the web interface and make sure that recording is switched on. Now, there are two ways of recording files in Zoom. Now, we can record locally, which means that it's recorded on our laptop or on our computer, and we have a file that we can work with. We can also record to the cloud, and then it's stored on Zoom's cloud servers. Now, I do not use that functionality because I use the free version of Zoom, and so I use local recorded files. But there are a couple of things that I really love about using this way of recording your files. Zoom does an incredible job at recording high quality audio and video whenever you do these recordings. So let's have a look at some of the available settings when recording video footage. Now here, the first thing we'll have to do is decide where are we going to store our recordings. Now you can leave that to the default, or you can choose a specific folder where your files are being stored. Do keep in mind, we're not just recording video files. Now down below, you'll see that we can also choose a location for the recording files after each recording. In some cases, you might prefer to use this method, which means that every single recording you can manually pick and choose where that file is stored. The next one is to record a separate audio file for each of the participants. This is great when you're doing podcasts or when you need high quality audio for each of your participants. And then everything is brought together. So you have a file for each of the participants. I love this when interviewing people or when you're doing podcasts. And then a number of other options that you can take is you can optimize it for the video editors, which means it's going to record in a higher quality. You can add timestamps, you can record the video during screen sharing, and you can also keep temporary recording files. Now, as a teacher, this might be a good one to tick because that way there is a temporary file. Let's say something's happened during a class or something went wrong. Well, then you have a record of that. You have a file and you can dive into your temporary files and you can retrieve that recording. So you don't have to worry about not having pressed that record button before your meeting started. Now let's see this in action. Now I'm going to leave the settings as they are and we're going to dive onto a Zoom meeting and look at how it works. So go ahead and close your settings and let's just start a new meeting. Now again, you can see I have my Zoom open on the left-hand side and this is using my webcam, and then I have my camera that's recording myself. So let's go ahead and join with computer audio. And now before we start our meeting, down at the bottom, you're going to find that record button. So let's go ahead and click on record. You can see in the top left corner, it is now recording. We have a number of options here. We can stop the recording or we can even pause the recording. Let's say that we're trying to prepare something. Well, we can press that pause button and then the recording is paused. We can also stop our recording. Now, when you stop your recording, but your meeting is still going on, well, then the file is not going to be converted yet. You can see a little notice here in the top corner. It will be converted to an MP4 file as soon as the meeting ends. That is because if I now choose to start up my recording again, it is going to generate a new file. Now, I'm going to go ahead and end this meeting. So let's go ahead and end it. And there we go. End the meeting for everyone. And we have finished. You can see it's now converting that file and it opens up the folder where my recordings have been stored or kept. Now, what I really like about the way Zoom records is that I get an MP4 file, and this is all the information, both audio and video. But I also get that audio only file. So in some cases, all you need is just that audio file, let's say a podcast, or you're trying to do a special series and you want to share out the audio with your students. Well, this gives you that audio file as well. Now back into our program and let's have a look at some of our previous meetings. Let's say I can't remember where the files are stored or I forgot to save them somewhere else or copy them. Well, we can open up Zoom and then at the top we can select Meet.
Okay, I am going to stop right there. And that was just basically the overview of how to record your lesson and how to, where it will go. And so the next thing I want to take a look at is why would you want to move your lesson to YouTube? So there are several reasons. They're more accessible to students. YouTube is easily, kids all know about YouTube if they want to either review the lesson or if they actually missed the lesson. I don't know if any of you have realized yet, but these new laptops that we got really have limited storage. So the faster turnaround time with your videos and getting them into YouTube, the better, because they do take up a lot of space on your laptop. Finally, and probably the best reason to upload to YouTube is that you'll have an archive of all of your videos, and you can have, like I said, playlists of videos, other videos that you want to go back and watch or that you want to save for future reference. So what
Hey, Julie.
Yeah.
Can I ask a quick question?
Absolutely.
It's about kind of the storing of Zoom videos and the storage on our laptops.
Mm-hmm.
In the spec ed world, we have been granted permission to do Zooms one-on-one with our caseload kids as long as we have parent permission. But we were also told that we need to record all the sessions. So at what point am I gonna, one, run out of space, and like two, I guess, is it really necessary for me to upload it to YouTube every single time? Because I think it's more for like protection against us if something were to come up and you have to provide videos. Maybe this is not a question for you.
It's a
I'm
great
just kind of
question.
thinking out loud.
It's a great question, and I have some thoughts on that. So where we do have unlimited space is in the Google Drive. So if you have, I'm guessing you have a certain number, 8 to 10 kids on your caseload or more. I don't have any idea. I just pulled that out of the air. But
no, you're right.
however many kids you have on your caseload, maybe you want to create a new folder in your Google Drive that's that you just call video conferencing, and then within that folder, maybe for each student. And then the other suggestion that I might have, so then you would drag them into, let's say you had Joey, and so you've got Joey's folder, and then you can just drag them in there into that folder. And I would recommend then, and we can take a look here at how they name, how Zoom names the files, but you might want to rename them by the date of the video conference. And then once they're dragged into the Google Drive, you should be able to delete them from your laptop.
Perfect. Great idea. Thank you.
Yep, yep, you're welcome. So any other questions?
Yeah, I do. I actually have a question. So when the district said that when you're providing new instruction, you have to record it. And so what I did is I created the, and I don't do new instruction, I don't know. But anyway, I recorded the one, and I had a Zoom, I have a folder on my desktop that I loaded the Zoom into, and then it's in my Canvas. So because I have students who might enter the program mid-year, and so I have it already recorded, and so that's why I put it in Canvas.
So again, you're going to run out of space if you continue to keep them in a folder on your laptop.
Right. So I just did that for that one. But so if we're talking for a regular teacher, traditional teacher who has to record, 4 times a week of a, 4 times a week of a new unit, they have to record that, right?
Correct.
So where are they, because the district is requiring us to record it and document it, right?
Yep.
If you upload those lessons to YouTube, does the district have access to it then? So it's a recording?
Yep,
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about, and I'm going to walk you through that process. So that's exactly right, Sarah, is once you upload it to YouTube. So let's say you're teaching, let's say that you have a, like you said, you're just initial video introducing what is LEAP, right? And you talk about the different pathways to graduation within LEAP, and it's a 20-minute video about general procedures for LEAP. So you do that lesson, and you can do that. So if you're not happy with it, you can certainly do another one and just record yourself instructing, and then we can upload it to YouTube. And then once you have your YouTube channel, I'm going to show you how to create a playlist that is just for your LEAP kids, or it could just be, you could have a playlist called Introduction to LEAP, and it could have different videos within that about how LEAP works. So does that help?
Sorry, I was getting water. Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
good.
That's what I wanted to do, and that's what I'm so happy for that clarification.
Yep,
Thank you.
it'll be pretty slick. You'll be pretty impressed with it, and you can't. It's one of those things that once you get going, it'll build confidence, but you can't hurt anything. You can delete videos that go into YouTube. So let's say you upload the one that you created, and then you're not so happy with it, and you decide you do a better one. You can delete the old one and put the new one in there. So going back to the video that by the gentleman about recording a Zoom meeting, this is an actual, these are 2 screenshots from my Zoom recording. I was just playing around a little bit with it last week. So immediately following your Zoom lesson, or when you finish recording, you will, it will show this first on the left screen where it says converting meeting recording. Now, if you did a stop in your lesson and a restart, it will do both of them, and I'll show you what that looks like, but it will convert everything into a recording. And then you get the option, if you don't have it preset in your settings, you get the choice of deciding where you want to have that stored. So In my case, like I said, I prefer to just have it on my desktop because I know I'm going to get rid of it. So let's see the next screen here then. Come on. So on my desktop, I have a folder, and I'm going to show you that in just a couple minutes. And within that folder, you can see all that's there. So what the gentleman was talking about, you can see these first two that are audio only. Like he said, those would be if you were going to do a podcast and you only needed the speaking. I don't really see us using that. I don't know, maybe you will. But over here on the right, you can see Zoom 0, and that was the first little video clip that I did when I was playing around. And then the second one is Zoom 1, and that is, excuse me, that is the video that we're actually going to upload to YouTube this morning. So I'm going to go ahead and select this. I'm going to change the view of my screen sharing, and we're going to take a look at my whole desktop and walk through the process of uploading it to YouTube. All right, so now, as you can see right here on my desktop, here we have the folder that it goes into. I'm going to open the folder, and I can see again, this is the same screenshot I shared with you before, but here's the Zoom 1 MP4. I'm going to click that. The MP4 is the actual video. So this was just a goofing around little video I did.
I realized that.
So what I've got here is the video that I want to upload to YouTube. This little box with the arrow in it, not the one that is the TV, the one to the bottom with the arrow pointing up, is where typically on iOS devices is how it's the way they show us how to send to something else. So email, text. And what I want to do is click on that, and then it gives me the options to send to YouTube. I'm going to click on YouTube. You will see it's publishing. The next step is something that a lot of people click through, but I would encourage you, this is where you would want to go in and do the naming. So our videos are always going to be education, and if you click on education there, the title, I would say PD on Zoom to YouTube. And I would even encourage a brief description and maybe even the date. So today is 9/14/20, YouTube, how to move your Zoom lesson to YouTube and then create a playlist. Okay, and so that's all I would do. I do think that the descriptions and the titles are important. The other thing that you want to remember to uncheck is access. Make this movie personal. You want your students to have access to this movie. So then I'm going to click next. I have to agree to their terms of use. And it does not take very long for a short video. So that was like a 1-minute video. And it will upload in a very short amount of time. Any questions up to this point? So it should be in Zoom now. Let's go ahead. I need to stop sharing again and come back and reshare in a different way. So I'm going back to my Google Chrome.
Can I ask one question, Julie?
Absolutely.
So when we upload that to YouTube, is our account automatically created?
Yep. So let me back up. I'm going to come out of my presentation. Let's see if I can do that. There we go. So I'm out of the presentation, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. So for example, you know these little boxes that are on all of our, so if you're in your email, if you're in your Google Drive, if you're on your calendar, you have these YouTube apps. If you click on that, so once you're logged in through your Verona email address, pretty much everything on your laptop will recognize that. And the way that I remember, so I do have my personal Google account as well. I try to keep my laptop limited to school material, but the one way to tell is I have two different pictures. So I have a picture of my dog for my personal account, and up here I can see that this is my school account. So if I click on these YouTube apps, I'll be able to see what's available. Let me show you in a different screen here. So if you were, for example, in your I'm having trouble there. If I were in my calendar, I would be able to click here and there's YouTube.
Okay.
Okay, so you should be able to get around from anything, from your calendar, your drive. If you're in slides, you should be able to select YouTube and it should open up to your school YouTube account.
Okay, and it just uses our credentials from our school account.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So, so then once you're in YouTube, you're probably not going to have anything there yet. It does sound like Carrie Ann and Carrie Ann, who do you work with? Krista? It sounds like Carrie Ann and Krista already have, their YouTube channel. So they probably have a number of things. So as you see here, this is my YouTube channel. The way I get to my channel is I click my name and then your channel. And so then you've got home. So here's all my videos, my playlists. And then if I click through the different tabs up here at the top, I've got videos. And these are all my personal videos that I've uploaded to YouTube. I've got playlists, which I'm going to show you how to create. And so here are my created playlists. Streamer, I follow Streamer because it's an app that I use and those are all their information videos. Tips for teaching virtually. If I click on that, you'll see that I have over here so these are all the things in my playlist. And so I've actually compiled all of the helpful videos that I've seen about teaching online into my personal playlist. And so how to use whiteboard in Zoom, adding audio to Google Slides, and look at some of these are Rita's. These are all the back to school ones. And just in case I want to go back and look at them, they're owned by other people, but I can certainly access them and keep them in an organized way. So I'm going to go back to my channel and we can now see that the video that I uploaded is now here. Are you not seeing it, or are you? Are you able to see my screen right now?
No.
Yeah.
Well, I see your YouTube, like just the interface.
Okay, good. I'm looking over at my iPad and my iPad was blank. I think it's buffering or having a problem.
Okay, I thought you had clicked into something, sorry.
Okay, so now you do see my YouTube channel, right?
Yes.
Okay, so there is the video that we just uploaded and it is in here. It's not in it's just, right now, it's just in as a video. It's not in a playlist or anything. So what I'm gonna do to put it in a playlist, I'm gonna actually open it. We don't need to hear it, but right within that video, if you look here, here's where people can, like, if you upload using your school email, it will automatically be approved. So I don't know if you've noticed, you have to, if you do select a video for students to watch, you have to approve it, but your own personal videos are automatically approved. So this one is already approved. Students would be able to watch it. Anybody in the school district could watch it. This share button is if you wanted to share a link. If you were to click on that, it gives you choices, the embed code. And so that if you wanted to just share the link to a video in Canvas or someplace, or send it to an email, that's what you would do. Then this is the thing that you're concerned with, these little lines with the plus. If I click on that, it shows all of the playlists that I have already created. It also gives me the option down below to create a new playlist. So in Sarah's case, if she wanted to create a new playlist called Introduction to LEAP, she could create that playlist. In thinking about if there were going to be more videos, you could go ahead and create a new playlist. In this case, I would call My Video Tips for Teaching Virtually. I'm going to go ahead and click on Tips for Teaching Virtually, and it is now added to that playlist. So if I were to go back to the playlists, my channel, playlists, it's going a little slow, isn't it? And then
Julie, do you just make playlists just to organize yourself so that it's easy for you to find a YouTube link to just upload to Canvas
Yep,
and zip out
absolutely.
to the kids? Okay.
Mm-hmm. So I just added that video to Tips for Teaching Virtually.
What's up, business owners?
And
My
there
name
it
is
is.
Karen Chister.
There it is down on the bottom there, PD on Zoom to YouTube. So yeah, going back to Justin's question, let me just show you a little bit what my playlists look like. So you can keep playlists on anything you want. So typically what you're going to do as if you are a classroom teacher is you probably want to have, so let's say I teach Algebra 1A. I'm probably going to have a playlist called Algebra 1A. If I teach German 1, I'm going to have a German 1 playlist. One of the reasons to do that is because I'm sure all of you have been on YouTube before and watching a video, and it just rolls into the next video. So if you don't have a playlist, it could roll into anything. It could roll into one of your music videos. If you have music videos on here, it could. So if a student is in 2017 summer school class, and I've got my playlist here and I assign one video. If I didn't have them in a playlist, it could roll right into iPads in education or something. It's just, and it's also a great way to organize yourself. If you, let's see here, you also have the option to create a playlist called, there is a playlist called Watch Later. So sometimes, for example, when a teacher is sending me an email, I will, rather than save the email, I'll just put the YouTube video in the Watch Later playlist, and then I'll take a look at it when I get home that night or something. So next step, I just wanted to show you one more thing with videos, and that is how to add closed captioning and subtitles. So especially those of you working in special education, you're probably well aware of this, but with this video here, if I click on closed captioning, I can easily turn them off and on. So immediately right now, let me just be quiet here and you can see.
Jenna Wine, the K-12 English language learner and bilingual coordinator in the Verona Area School District. Today, I'd like to share with you some information about our English language learners at
So I will say, you know, it's pretty accurate. It's good. It's okay in English. Subtitles are great for hard of hearing students, great for English language learners. I would say that they're pretty good for, you know, just about any student for, you know, just clarifying. The other thing I wanted to show you is right here within settings. Now, this is something that I would recommend that you teach your English language learners, and it would probably be your newcomers. So a kid that's been here for a long time and speaks Spanish at home is probably not going to read better in Spanish than English. It's mostly for the newcomer students that haven't quite developed their English skills. So within here, it says subtitles. So I clicked on the little wheel here, And I'm going to click on that. And then I'm gonna, instead of English auto-generated, I'm gonna click auto-translate. And you've got lots of languages here. So then I'm gonna pick Spanish. And once that's on, let's take a look at that.
Verona Area High School. English language learners, also known as ELs, make up about 10% of our student population at Verona Area High School. The majority of our
I would say it's pretty good. At least it's an additional support. There are errors, I'm not gonna lie, and the only one I'm able to check is Spanish. I don't know any other languages, but it is another level of support. And like I said, this is probably something that you would want to teach your newcomer students. I believe that most of our newcomers are probably aware of this from their ESL class because we try to teach those things. But it is another additional resource that's pretty good. Or if you're working with parents. So if you have a video, for example, an introduction video, and you wanted your parents to look at what the program is, Sarah, you could definitely use this subtitles in Spanish for parents to read through. So I guess with that, I'm wondering what questions you have about, let me jump back over here to the presentation. So the goals were, for you to be able to record in Zoom, upload you to YouTube, create a YouTube channel, and building playlists, adding subtitles and translation. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes.
It's just really slow. Okay. So I'm wondering what questions you all might have about any of these things. Do you feel comfortable with the material that was presented?
Yeah, super helpful. Thank you, Julie.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yes, very helpful, Julie. I appreciate it.
Good, good. I'm glad.
Didn't realize it was quite so simple.
It is really simple, and it sounds so much more professional than it actually is. Creating playlists is simple. You already have a channel, you probably just don't have it set up. So
Right.
it is pretty easy, and like I said, you can't hurt anything. If you even play around and upload a video, you can delete the video again, and just for learning.
I do have a question if I can ask quick. So that the feature of the Spanish or any language subtitles, is it possible to not have the words in English and the subtitles in Spanish? Like, is that confusing for those kids at all to like hear the English and then try to read the Spanish?
So what I would tell them typically is to mute the audio and to read along. Because yes, I find myself being distracted. That's a really good question. I would have them, so if they are, well, it is a YouTube video. If you have that in your Canvas course or, for a student to watch, I would recommend that they mute the audio so that they can just read and look at the slides.
Copy. Thank you.
Yep.
Julie, I have a question as well. So I have my YouTube channel up, and when of course I have nothing in there. And so when I click on playlist, there's nothing. There's no create, no nothing. So I'm guessing that I have to take that Zoom recording and I have to record it and then I put it into YouTube, right?
So one of the things, Sarah, is that even teachers that have not recorded anything can add videos to a playlist. So let's say, for example, I just on my YouTube channel. So the way you would start a playlist, it can be your Zoom video, or it could be, I'm just going to pull this. I don't even know what this one is. how to use Google Jamboard. Okay, so this one, I don't know, maybe somebody already has okayed it, but I don't even know what this one is, like I said. All you need to do to create a playlist is say, oh, wow, I really like this video, and come down to this plus button. And so even if you find videos, for example, so I know you teach the class on being 18 and being responsible. So let's say you find a short video about your responsibilities as you turn 18 and become an adult. So all you would do is click these lines with the plus, create new playlist, and call it On Being 18, create. And now that video that you like for your students is in the playlist called On Being 18. So if I come back to here, my channel, and I want to look at my playlists, now I should have a new playlist called On Being 18. Where did it?
Maybe you have to update it or something.
I wish I need them listed. Oh, there it is. You were right. It just needed to refresh. So now I've got a new playlist called On Being 18, and I can, so even teachers that aren't creating and their own videos are able to have playlists for classes. So for example, I don't think any of these are my videos. 2017, I taught summer school. And so if I click on this, I don't really want to watch it, but here are the videos that are within my summer school. And as you can see, none of these were created by me. They were just videos that I thought were appropriate and I wanted to use with my students in that summer school course.
So if you wanted to do a link to your playlist in Canvas, how would you do that rather than just each individual video?
So let's see here. I just did this the other day. Let me see, virtually, here are my playlists. So Lori Burgos shared with me a playlist. Here's another thing I'll share with you that is very helpful. So over here on the left are subscriptions. So as you play around more and more with YouTube, you can actually follow people. So if I come in here, and this looks like a big mess, but like I actually follow different people that I like. I mean, that I like what they share on YouTube. So, and Mary Harden happens to be one of them. So, so what does that mean when I have subscriptions? Let me click on that again and see what comes up. So what I see here are everything new this week by people or places that I follow. So Living Tree, all of these from Living Tree are, Living Tree is about family engagement. So they come right into my feed. And so if, for example, and what it means when you have a subscription is that you subscribe to Mary Harden's YouTube channel. I subscribe to, for example, Rita Mortensen, Lori Burgos. If there's a particular, so Cast is who does UDL, Living Tree, Mary hasn't put anything out. So you can subscribe. This Ashley Espinosa has really good videos for teaching online. You can subscribe to different people's channels and put them. So like if Mary comes up with a new Canvas video, you can certainly put them in a playlist as well. Does that make sense?
So the playlist is the same as the library?
Yeah, I would call it that. Yep, your playlist is like a library, and it's organized by, instead of by the numbers or by the alphabet, it's organized by the title of the playlist.
Okay, so is there a way to do a link to your whole playlist or
Oh,
your
that was the question. Okay.
for like to put into Canvas?
So going back to what I would recommend is having somebody subscribe to, well, you probably wouldn't want them to subscribe to you. Let me think about, let's go back to playlists.
I guess they could if I kept, you know, as long as I kept my, as long as I kept things organized.
Yeah. Let me think about this a second. I don't know the answer to that, Linda, as far as
It's okay.
sharing.
Yeah, if it's possible, or if you come up with an answer, just shoot an email.
Okay, yep. I don't know if it's possible to just share a whole playlist. That's a great question. I'll dig in and find out and send you an email.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
It's not urgent. I was just kind of wondering.
Okay, with that, do you have any other questions about what we talked about today?
I do, Julie. Sorry.
That's okay.
First question is, are there any like copyright laws or anything? I mean, as long as I'm subscribed to and I have my own YouTube channel, and like you said, you follow some people, and if I like something and I take part of their video or all of it, is there any concern with that, with copyright issues or anything?
Well, so you're not necessarily recording other people's videos. You would use their videos, and it would be just like asking kids to view a video as an assignment.
Okay.
So that's not a problem. The only problems that I've ever run into with uploading videos to YouTube is if you are using somebody's music as a background in your presentation, sometimes they will take it off.
Right, and so that's why I was asking that, because I think there's like a certain time limit, and I need to refresh that with Rita. I don't know how many minutes. It's like maybe a minute long of a song that you can play or something. Might be even less than that.
Right.
And so the other, I guess the other question would be, am I able to, if I were to create a video of my presentation. So I'm thinking my presentation right now is just a Google slide, and I didn't do the voiceover to it. So it'll be easy to kind of make it more exciting and make it more, you know, really better for YouTube. Can I take snippets while I have my presentation? If I have a video that I want to play along or embed in the presentation, I can do that, right? And just
right. So you mean like what I was just doing? Like I had the gentleman that talked about how to record on Zoom within my presentation. Yes, you should be able to do that.
Okay. And then, all right. And I'll talk more later on some other things that
Okay. Yep, I'm happy to help. Anything else?
Thank you, Julie.
Yeah, I've appreciated that all of